discuss on implementing a PBIS plan within the RtI framework.
Okay, I did give you several documents to look at, and I'm just going to go through them in order. So my purpose for this today is just to kind of give you an overview of everything, just kind of tell you where we're at. If you think back to when Darlene handed out her implementation, her initiation implementation grid, we're in the implementation or initiation stage. So that means that we're just starting the training now, and so the first document there is the PBIS tier teams. You can see them by school. You can see who is serving as internal coaches, the external coach, all things that when I'm working with the regional technical assistance coordinator from the PBIS network, she's kind of helped put that together for us. You can also see that we did create our district team, but we haven't met as a district team yet, and until we go through at least day one of the training, there's really no reason to. So the team is made up, but we're not active yet at that point. The second document was just in case you are not very familiar with PBIS. It's just an overview of the core elements and what it's all about, being that it's a positive approach. And then the next document is what I kind of talked about last month in the board meeting that I would have for you, which is the 3 to 5 year time frame for implementing PBIS district-wide. I use the word fluid there because, again, I'm trying to project this out and we haven't started training. The other thing about it is when you go through, we know the dates for tier 1 training, but we don't know, and you cannot know until you're in the programming when we'll be ready for tier 2. So I can project out when I think it will be, but data will show us when we're ready for that. So I know Dawn knows all about that. So.
And every building might be a little different.
Yeah, every building might be a little different. We've already talked about that as well. So, I mean,
80% buy-in, isn't that the idea?
yes. And so, I mean, you can see I've put out the dates as much as I could, but it will change, it will adjust. I have, next year being our big tier 1 implementation in the schools. So we'll work on it from that point on. When it comes to budgeting for PBIS, I did again project the cost because this is what it would be right now for the trainings. You can see that the training only costs were picked up by the building budgets, and then the substitute teacher costs our district picks up. So it's kind of a half and half between the buildings and the district. I have it being the same cost for all the tiers because as of now, that's what the cost is. So, if we do anything towards tier 2 next year at all, it would just be probably the administrative overview, but we don't know if we'll be able to do that or not. I can give you updates as we go along, but until we know how it's rolling out in the schools, we won't be able to decide if we're moving ahead or waiting. I don't know if you have any questions.
Well, I thank you for this. I think this is an aggressive plan. We've been
It's
sitting
very
at,
aggressive.
We've been
It's
sitting at
about
tier
hope.
1 for like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, and
so
the high school too,
we
yeah.
keep plugging along every meeting.
We're
like
gonna
we're gonna
keep
do
doing
this.
it.
So, and I mean, I think your staff buy-in is just crucial to make this successful.
What is the high school at now?
They're still in tier 1. They're in tier 1 as well. But when I talked, they said the high schools will have harder times implementing it than elementary. I know there's going to be bumps. I mean, we know that. It's something our staff has wanted for some time though,
Yeah,
so everybody's looking for it. And I think once we get over some of the bumps and get going, it will provide structure to what we need to be doing. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And as far as, I mean, you can see it in the timeline, but I am visiting all the schools this month and kind of going over, we're starting some of that. Not that we already all have components in place,
Right.
but we need to strengthen that. So we'll kind of back things up a little bit and get some real universal understandings of what it is.
And there's so many things out there, like when you look at the cool tools and all those things that
Yes.
made tier 1 successful, that you won't have to necessarily reinvent.
Exactly.
So many things from COVID that'll help the momentum and get going and being able to use those.
So when it comes to the cost,
is when you pay the tier 1, is that all you pay, or do you pay every year you're
No,
doing it?
it's
the
just
initial
it's a one-time,
shot?
no,
And
it's a.
those are costs for training.
Yeah, it's just
It's a
a training
one-shot
cost,
deal.
it's a one-shot deal, yeah.
Okay, I'm just
So,
curious.
yeah, we don't pay for tier 1 every year we're in it.
Okay, that's
We'll
all.
have already been,
Okay,
this
sure.
is for how
Tier
many
one.
people. I mean, that's
Okay.
why our teams are made up of 8 people, because it was $1,600 for a team of 8. So, of course, we use them, well, that means 8 people in each building can get trained, so we sent, but we won't have to pay for that every time. It
Okay.
is, what you see on there will be what we have to do.
I just want to make sure after I hear.
Yeah,
It's
oh,
still
5
hanging
years
out
of
in
tier 1.
Tier 1.
Oh.
It's not like a recurring.
Not hanging over and over.
It's over.
Let's try again this year.
Sometimes
guys.
you add new members and you over like
There's no
progression.
financial penalty.
Okay.
Administration and staff turnover can really change
Exactly,
the,
yeah.
being able to be successful at it and maintaining that.
Usually is it middle schools that jump on first? Or they usually, I think, no, it's elementary.
Mhm. When we were at the coaches training in December, there were several new administrators that their buildings were PBIS, but then they were learning it along, but they just put them right in and keep going with it. If you have a strong team, I think one person, out of it, you can help keep it going. So, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I like the idea of having 8 people, because if you have that strong team and you build them from the start, hopefully. We'll see.
It's very good to
It's a good journey.
That's all right. Everything, journeys are fun. We'll sit at night.
Any questions from other board members?
We had
PBIS?
that discussion quite a bit.
Yeah.
All right, next to Neola.